Hi everyone, it's Anan once again, and today I'm at the Spanish Air Force Museum and we are going inside in a moment. Okay, this is the first hangar with the first planes, the early experiments to conquer the skies. Between 1913 and 1927, the Spanish were involved on a campaign to conquer some parts of Morocco, and they have this very interesting presentation showing the life during the campaign, maintenance, water, uniforms. In here, for example, they have a de Havilland DH4, which I believe it's a replica, but still very well made. On this side we have a Bristol F2B, and it's a very interesting display because it shows here the bombs, machine guns. They are loading something there. Wasn't expecting that. This hangar here has a very interesting presentation showing the early exploration flights done by the Spanish. They have here, for example, a Dornier Dole Wall, the Plus Ultra, which was used to make a flight between south of Spain to Buenos Aires, akin to the Portuguese flight between Lisbon and Rio de Janeiro. Curiously, it was flown by Ramon Franco, who was the brother of later Generalissimo Franco. And in here they have a Breguet XIX, which was used for a flight between Seville and, well, it was intended to arrive in Mexico, but it disappeared after taking off from Havana. I'm now at the hangar with the uniforms and the engines, which is often overlooked. They also have a small part with weapons used by the Spanish Air Force over the years, for example, torpedo, some missiles, rockets, the Matra 530, French short medium range missile, rockets, bombs, simulators, many sorts, and some bombs over there. We are now inside hangar number 3, and we are greeted by this Fokker DR-1 replica based on the plane used by the famous Red Baron. In here we have a Fiat CR32, which was flown by Garcia Morato, who was the highest ace of the Spanish Civil War. From what I've heard, this is a combination of several planes with parts that were recovered from the plane in which he died around the end of the war. And in here we have the Fiat engine that powered this aircraft. And another interesting thing, we have here the 2 machine guns that were on the plane that Garcia Morato died, already showing the damage from the crash. I have here a very interesting plane. From what you can see, it looks like it's a Messerschmitt 109 used by the Spanish Air Force, but it's incorrect. This is a Hispano Buchon. At the end of the Second World War, the Spanish were still using the Messerschmitt 109, but since Germany was defeated and it was impossible to provide the Daimler-Benz engines for their own planes, the Spanish did a very interesting idea. They purchased a lot of Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, which was used to power its main rival, the Spitfire, and they combined on the Buchon. This plane was used by the Spanish Air Force until the 60s, and it was prominently used during the recording of the movie of the Battle of Britain. In here we have the Havilland Dragon Rapid that was used to bring General Franco from the Canary Islands, where he was exiled, to Ceuta, where he met with his loyal soldiers. This museum also has some rather interesting planes, like Catalina, amphibious plane, and a Canadair, which are widely used in Spain and Portugal to fight the wildfires, as well as the Grumman Albatros over there, a Douglas DC-3 here, or a C-47 since it's a military version, and over here they have not one but two Junkers Ju-52, the famous Aunt Ju. Another interesting plane here that they have is the Aviajet, which is a training plane that was developed here in Spain, and it's being removed from service as we speak. We continue this group of very interesting planes with a rather odd plane used by the Spanish Air Force. It's the B-25 Mitchell bomber, which is very interesting because the Spanish at the time were all using German planes. This plane fell in Spain during the Second World War, or at least a similar plane fell, and was recovered by the Spanish and used for some years for training. And on this side they have some another very interesting planes, like the Mirage F1, the Mirage 3. This Mirage has one Matra 530 missile under the fuselage. Now they have here an F5, Northrop F5. It's a reconnaissance version, I can see, because it has the room for the camera on the nose. A regular F5, A variant, similar to the plane that I made for the Vietnam collab. An F-86 Sabre with lots of rocket launchers under the wings. And now, continuing with the very odd plane collection, they have a Saab Vegan, one of the most wonderful planes and beautiful planes ever designed. Fantastic, first time that I see one. Very beautiful plane. And they have another Swedish plane. They have a Lansen, a Saab Lansen, which was the second jet fighter that was developed in Sweden. They have a MiG-23 Flogger fighter here as well. These planes are in very good condition. It seems that they were painted during this summer or recovered recently. And this is from German Democratic Republic. That's the name. With lots of Cyrillic markings, even if it was a plane used by the Germans. Very impressive. Not as big as I imagined. And a MiG-21 here as well, also from the German Democratic Republic. And in here they have a MiG-17. I thought it was a MiG-15, but it's a MiG-17. This one was used by the Bulgarian Air Force. Another Mirage F1. And this one is a trainer. And we have here a Starfighter. Very interesting. The plane was known in almost all the air forces that operated it as the Widowmaker, since it made so many women widow, because it was a very dangerous plane to fly. But in Spain it had a remarkable successful operation, and not a single example was lost during its entire operational usage. And in here they have another of my favorite planes, the F4 Phantom, and the Spanish use them for quite some time. They recently removed from service the reconnaissance version, and they have here one of them. And in here a combat version. They use exactly or pretty much the same camouflage used by the Americans during the Vietnam War, with some differences on the shades.